Here we go again. Alan Shearer has spoken about João Pedro's move to Chelsea and the challenges manager Enzo Maresca may face after a busy start to the summer transfer window. Alan Shearer has surprisingly praised Chelsea for adding to their squad following the signing of João Pedro. The Blues completed a £55 million deal for the Brazilian forward last week. Pedro made his Chelsea debut as a second-half substitute against Palmeiras, with Enzo Maresca's side recording a 2-1 win to advance to the Club World Cup semi-finals. The 23-year-old replaced fellow new arrival Liam Delap up front, displaying that Pedro will likely play an important part for Chelsea in the upcoming season. Shearer commended the signing of Pedro, despite Chelsea often being criticized for having a bloated squad. "I think that's another clever signing from Chelsea," Shearer said of Pedro on the Rest is Football podcast. "I think he's a really good player, João Pedro. I mean, he had one or two issues at Brighton, but I think that's a clever signing. And with them going to be fighting on so many fronts next season, they can't have enough players. I know they've got a lot anyway. They're going to have to offload some, they're going to have to sell." Gary Lineker highlighted that Chelsea will be without suspended duo Delap and Levi Colwill for Tuesday's semi-final clash against Fluminense. Reece James will also be sidelined for the game through injury. However, Shearer demonstrated that Chelsea having such a deep squad leads to a level of cynicism among neutrals. "They're never going to get any sympathy from anyone about having suspension or injuries, are they?" he joked. Chelsea have been busy in the summer transfer window, snapping up Delap, Dario Esugo, and Mamadou Sarr before recruiting Pedro and Gittins. There was plenty of attention placed on squad size at the start of Maresca's reign last summer, with the boss admitting that he had acted ruthlessly when deciding on which players to work with. "At the moment, with the squad that we have, I am working with 22, 23, or 21 players. Not with the 42 players, otherwise it is impossible," Maresca explained last year. "It is impossible for any manager in the world to make a session with 45 players. It's impossible. You cannot do that." Chelsea successfully managed players' minutes as they juggled their top 4 Premier League finish with their Europa Conference League triumph last season. However, one area the Blues were deemed to be lacking was competition for Nicholas Jackson up front, which the club have addressed through the signings of Delap and Pedro. Pedro was quickly introduced to first-team action against Palmeiras, even though the forward had been enjoying time off before completing his transfer. Explaining his decision post-match, Maresca said, "Yes, since he arrived, the reason why we decided for him is because since he arrived, even if he was on holiday, he looks sharp, he looks good." Chelsea's qualification for the Champions League and desire to compete in the Premier League and domestic cups should offer plenty of opportunities for Delap, Jackson, and Pedro to stake their respective claims. Former Watford and Brighton star Pedro has his sights set on bringing more success to Stamford Bridge. "I was one of the ones to watch Chelsea. They had brilliant players in the past, have brilliant players now. It's a big club. I think that's why I chose to join Chelsea," Pedro said after signing for the club. "I grew up watching the Premier League, and Chelsea were a club that won trophies. So, when you join Chelsea, you can only think one thing: to win trophies. Every competition, you have to think, I play for Chelsea, and that is my ambition.